There were any changes or anything, or if not, I would have a motion.
Motion to approve the October 3rd minutes and suspend the meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Approval of agenda. Everyone has a copy of the agenda in front of them. Are there any additions?
Move to approve the agenda.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor of the agenda?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Okay, we have the 2016 street project, pay estimate number 4. Good evening.
So as of today, they are done with all their work out there. We got the last mailboxes put up on the concrete for last week, and everything is good to go. So from here on out, we have just like a final walkthrough to go through, put together a punch list of anything that's kind of outstanding on the project. So if you guys know of anything or hear anything, let us know and we'll get it on the list, either from the water guys or the street guys. If there's anything that's been noticed, we'll get going on that. And then also I have pay estimate 4 here. This is through the end of September for a total for this estimate of $90,074.24. Other than that, that's, I think Monty has a requisition form. There's an issue too, but
Okay.
if you guys have any questions or anything.
Anybody have any questions on the estimate? If not, would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve pay estimate number 4 for $90,074.22.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Aye.
Miller. Aye. Stern.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye. Motion carried.
As Eric mentioned, he had done calculations that we saw last meeting with regard to the requisition from Bank of North Dakota to request $200,944.86. Bryce Nelson, from KLJ has signed off on the original copy of the requisition. Just need your approval to send it in to Bank of North Dakota.
Okay.
That's for 200.
$200,944.86 this time. There'll be one more at least, once we get the final numbers.
Okay. Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Hack.
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Pillar.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay, we're on to more engineering.
Good evening. So hopefully you all have received some information about the platform options for the GIS. We had requested those from last time. So there's quite a bit of information included each one of those options on the task order, so if any of those are something that looks good to you, you can pick and choose as you want to. So do you have any questions about any of it, or?
The ArcGIS and the ArcReader, two completely different platforms, correct? The ArcReader is the free option that gives you ability to take a look at everything that you guys would develop for us.
Right.
It would just not allow us to make any kind of amendments to it using that particular software.
Correct.
If we saw or needed changes and stuff, that we would just come back to you then, if that's the path that we were to go down.
Yes, if you wanted to go that path. And both of those are your desktop alternatives.
Correct.
So there's 4 total, 2 desktop, 2 web-based. And I should mention too that the fee for the more, I don't know if Monty made that change, maybe I kind of sent it out prematurely, yeah. It's, the price on that did come down, and the reasoning behind that is because if you recall back when we were initially talking about all this, we set a range, we said it would be between like 4,000 and 5,000 a year. And at the time, at our last meeting, I was kind of leaning on Kyle to give me a number for that. And so what it was is they were in the process of setting all this up with the Amazon cloud and whatnot. So he had given me the number he did, and now that they're further into the process and have a much clearer idea, that's why that number had come down. But I do want to assure you that had you approved it last time at that other fee amount, I mean, we would have made this adjustment. So I mean, it's not like, but this number's a lot more solid now. So that's just why it changed.
So to get everything on there, it would be the 18,763, basically,
To create the
to
map.
create the map,
Yes.
or not to exceed that amount.
Yeah, not to exceed.
Okay.
We can do it out of it and hopefully bring it in a lot cheaper than that.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
So then on the ArcGIS reader, it's just gonna be just on one machine, right?
Well, it's free,
Or is this
so
or what?
yeah, I mean, you could put it on whatever you wanted. So you could download it on whatever machine you wanted to put it on.
So it should be on more than one machine then?
And we would just store the GIS file maybe on our server, and then it would be accessible then from any of the.
And it really depends on what you want to use this for. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're just looking at it as trying to get information from city employees and whatnot down on paper so you don't lose it, then the ArcReader would be a good way to go. If you're gonna actually use the program and the map, then guys are going out in the field and they're, you know, uploading information as they're working, they get locations of valves, curb stops, whatever, then you'd want something a little bit more enhanced than that. But if you're just looking to use it as basically as a library of information, maybe ArcReader would be fine.
I feel like initially, that's probably the gist of our approach here.
Mhm.
You know, we're gonna have people, it's gonna be a new concept to them to have that online. It is to offer us that transition from head knowledge to having something in a database that any of the
Right.
folks in the group could access and understand where things are and stuff like that. And I think it's, in my opinion, it's something that we could grow into. Once they become familiar with that, they may find, you know, that there are opportunities to make it better. And then we could entertain those type of things in the future.
I guess what kind of, on a format are all these documents gonna be in, like a CAD or just like a PDF or?
Well, the files in GIS are called shape files, but if you look at the ARC reader, I think they're called PMFs there. So the map would be viewable through those files, PMFs.
So then like in 10 years, let's say, if we want to, change the way we do this, like, I guess like a GIS, would we then be able to transfer all that
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you could just pick up right where you left off.
into a different program? The program isn't gonna,
Well, when you're saying a different program, you mean like ArcGIS or something
Yeah,
like that?
yeah.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be a problem.
there's sometimes we have to do this again, if we
No.
go,
Now, once you have the map, you'll have it, that'll be yours, and then, as time goes on, your needs change, whatever, you can load it into whatever platform works best for you.
Are there any other questions?
I got one more, just for Monty. I guess on budget wise, this year. Better for this year? Okay.
2016.
I just have a comment. All of our city plats are presently available through the ARC reader. So right now you can view any of the city plats
Using that
through
same
the,
platform.
through the free software, yeah. So they are all available right now.
So then all that, I guess, we would be adding in just water and sewer lines and.
Well, we'd be creating all the lot lines, all the utilities. Whatever we were able to get from the city in CAD format would be part of that map. We would combine everything into one place.
So it'd be just a more detailed
Right.
map versus.
Yeah, much more detailed.
Are there any other questions?
I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with the creation of the GIS mapping in the amount of not to exceed $18,763. And I would propose that as part of that package that we would use the ARC reader as the means of accessing that data initially here.
We have a motion on the floor,
Second.
and there's a second. Is there any more discussion? Roll call?
Pillar,
Aye.
Stern,
Aye.
Hack,
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye. Motion carried.
Mark, that's exactly what I was looking for.
Okay,
Thank you.
is there anything else we needed from Mark? No? Okay, now we're on to request of citizens, North Dakota Cares Community.
Good evening, ma'am, commissioners. My name is Darcy Hemp. I'm the executive director for the North Dakota Cares Program. I brought with some handouts. I must be the culprit of why he's not here, because I only brought 5 copies with me. So it works out perfect. So I'll just pass these out to each of you that are here. Use at your leisure. And we'll refer to the big handout here as I go through. But briefly, just wanted to tell you a little bit about North Dakota Cares. North Dakota Cares is simply a coalition of a little bit over 40 agencies and civilian businesses throughout North Dakota that come together and work to bridge any gaps that there might be in accessibility for veterans, their families, service members or survivors in the services that they're eligible for or that they need. So that's what this coalition, North Dakota Cares Coalition, does. We don't have any money, so to speak, to go out and apply to a program or something like that. We don't raise money by any means. There's agencies within the coalition that actually do that for their particular program. We have mental health, we have substance use, suicide prevention. We have the Red Cross. That's all part of the coalition that works within North Dakota to ensure accessibility is easy for those groups of folks that I just talked about. The program started back in 2013. First Lady Dalrymple, she chairs the coalition. We meet regularly. It's a monthly basis where we meet as an executive committee to go through and give her a status update on how we're progressing in the various portions of the ND Cares program. And the reason I'm here tonight is part of that program deals with communities. Simply as on the front it says, North Dakota Cares Community Program Toolkit. This particular program is a way for communities, and not that you don't show support to the service members, their families, veterans, and survivors, because we know you do. But it's a way to hang a sign on your city sign that you have on the borders of your town. Also formalizes an agreement with the North Dakota Cares Coalition. And that agreement is nothing more than conducting once a year an event to honor all those groups of folks that we just talked about. That could be as simple as, if you have a memorial here in town, doing a ceremony at the memorial, bringing folks together for that. Maybe it's a 4th of July parade where you feature them, different things like that. We have some suggested ideas in here that you can do. The other part of the program, requirement for the city to become a member would be to sign a, make sure I get the correct verbiage on that. Basically sign a letter of, here it is, a resolution on support. Excuse me. And you can manipulate that particular letter that we have on page 14 to fit what works for your community. The other part is develop a 3-person committee that will act as the steering committee for your North Dakota Cares community. And they're the ones that would be responsible for organizing the event, if you will, saying, hey, here's what we want to do. If the right thing, according to your guidelines, is to bring it back, right here, then that's what they would do under your guidance. So that's a little bit about the requirements. Also, purchasing the signs is a requirement. They're $40 a piece. They're 2x2 signs, says North Dakota Cares. The sign looks just like on the front, except it's, instead of having a blue background here, it'll be like a white reflective color that can be hung. So that's a little bit about the program, and I wanted to present that to you folks for consideration. I put my card and Joe Fowler's card. He works with me in my office. We're to contact folks for it. If you have interest, you can just drop us an email, and we can help get you fillable forms, editable forms, if you will, to make that process a little bit easier. We come up and actually do a formal presentation based on whatever timeline works for you and whatever technique you want us to do it with. For here, we bring military personnel probably also to be a part of that presentation, knowing that you have been, we had a guardian here for many, many years. So, that's kind of what we've adopted as a process. So ma'am, that's it with the North Dakota Cares Community Program that I wanted to visit with you tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
If everyone just wants to read these through, we can discuss them at a future meeting. Decide if we want, something we want to do. Very informative. The 2017 CVB budget. I was told that you all had a copy that looks like this.
Yep.
Carla is not able to be with us tonight, so I'm the treasurer and I can answer any questions that you might have about the budget for 2017. She's highlighted some things that we have done this year, sports shows, and we have a new look. It looks pretty nice. We just updated that. And other than that, our budget is pretty much on for 2016, even though we still have a few more payments till the end of the year. And not a lot of changes into the 2017 budget. So, anyone has any specific questions?
Are there any questions on the CVB budget? Do we need to have a motion on this, Monty, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Accepted.
Okay. We didn't entertain a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call?
Miller.
Aye.
Hack. Aye. Stern.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And then we have moving down to variance request for Schneid.
I got a letter from Steve, I got it on Friday, so try to get on your schedule, I appreciate you being on there. I'm here to ask for permission to keep an RV on my lot. I don't know if you're familiar with where that's at.
I am not.
It's lot 11 of block 104 North Star First Edition.
It's basically north of the tennis court, just south of where,
Okay.
Steve sent me this letter and I wasn't aware that I needed permission to do that, so I'm here to request permission to.
well, what the permission is for is that, as we had at the last meeting, RVs can be on those lots from April until October 31st, and apparently this individual's gonna stay past October 31st, so that's, hence the variance request. And I guess what brought it up was at the last meeting when we had a similar request. And we made a comment that there was this one up here, so I went by up there. And I mean, it does look attractive. I don't know if you have a chance to see it, Dan. I mean, it is skirted and stuff. And so, yeah, it looks like they're gonna be there for the winter. And I mean, it looks like the skirting was probably made for that unit. I mean, it looks like it probably was because of the colors and all of that, so.
And how long is it planning on?
I don't know that for sure, he just said that he's gonna need to stay till next year sometime. He's construction worker for the urea plant out of PGC. So I know it's this winter, that's all I know. He's planning on buying something later, don't know. He doesn't have any children, they have a dog, so they're pretty mobile.
Hey.
I don't know, is there a fee to pay for a permit or?
Well, no, there isn't. So I guess the variance request would be allowed them to be there from October 31st through, I mean, after April 1st, then you don't need the variance anymore. If it's gonna be pulling out sometime during the next summer or something like that? Why would it just be from October 31st this year until April 1st of next year? What would be needed?
What is your plan, I guess, on like with that lot in the future?
To put a mobile home on there. I just haven't had anybody that's interested in, that would always be my first, one of my priorities to get a mobile home on there. There aren't too many people buying mobile homes nowadays, and when they do, they usually buy their own lot. So, kind of nice to have it rented out.
Move to approve the variance until April 1st of next year.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call?
Stern.
Aye.
Pillar.
Aye.
Hack. Hey. Wolf.
Aye. Motion carried.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
I have one question. What if he's gonna be here another winter?
You will have
Can
to
you
come back
and visit
after.
us again?
Yeah.
Cause I hate to say, well, yeah, you can stay, but, or you can't stay if I can tell him that soon enough.
Because now basically has permission until October 31st.
Yeah.
And you have to, of next year,
Sometime next year, correct? Yeah.
because then you'd have to reapply.
And just to let you know, we had a discussion very similar to this in our last commission meeting. And there was discussion in the fact that the city has 2 RV parks that the city and the park board had put a lot of money into to develop those for these very needs in the community and stuff. And the preference would be that that's where we'd like to see, as opposed to doing these variances like this.
That's fine. I understand. No offense. Makes sense. Okay, well, anyway, if someone comes along and wants to put a mobile home there, that's, then I'll give you a heads up that we'll have to move, so that's still my priority.
Okay,
All
sounds
right,
good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Should have known that earlier, they had 2 requests.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Anything, so I'll keep you in mind.
Yeah, keep me in mind.
Okay, we'll move on to reports. Water and sewer.
I guess there's a problem, I guess, with the number of people not paying their I guess, their water bill on time. And our ordinance right now just reads, it's a $5 fee. If we'd like to, I guess, raise that up to maybe $10, even more than that. That sounds, I guess, like it's kind of a lot of work for this, as well, for, I guess, office staff, and each not to write up a letter, mail it out, so.
Do we need to give notice before we raise those fees, or?
Yeah, it's an ordinance, so we'll have
Okay.
2 readings.
Okay. Because $5 is a very light fine for not paying a
Do we
bill.
issue quite a number of those penalties?
She sends us between 75 and 85 letters every month.
That indicate that they are being penalized at $5, and it just gets added onto their outstanding balance. Are we successful in getting any of those dollars? Okay.
Most of them don't take twice a month.
I'd like to probably see $20, and do it back on the amount of time, I guess it takes us, to make the notice and everything, so.
You like to go from 5 to 20 possibly?
And I guess just to kind of tack on that, we talked a little bit before, this isn't just a card that gets sent out. I mean, it's an 8.5 by 11 envelope letter that, Shannon has to go through stuff into the envelope and run through the thing. So it's not just a simple, it's not an easy task for her to do it. And her comment is, if we increase the fee, maybe they would change their ways. I mean, it's basically the same people every month. And apparently the $5, maybe, you know, Casey's saying $20 might get their attention, you know.
Have we mentioned that if there is a online or you can have a direct payment? Has that been pointed out to a lot of our? Okay, because I've
That's
talked to a
part
number
the
of people and they
correspondence
don't
that goes
know
out
that they
to
can do
them.
that.
Okay.
Ones that are delinquent, you mean?
No, just
Okay.
a lot of people that I've talked to don't know that they can do that with the city. So,
Pat, any thoughts on that of increasing from like 5 to, let's say, even 20?
It's all within your control.
And Monty, that's unless or you talk to other people around the state and that's not out of line.
No, there's a lot of them that 15, 20, 25, there are some that are even up to some as high as 450. But they're only sending out 3 a month now.
That's our goal too. We're not doing it to make it a funding source for us.
No.
It's more of a.
It's to offset the internal costs.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
So if we want to make this happen, then we have to have 2 readings and an ordinance change.
So we just have to make a motion and approve tonight that we would go down that path.
To draft the ordinance amendment.
I'd like to make a motion to proceed forward with going from 5 to 20.
there is a motion on the floor.
I'll second that.
There is a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call?
Hack,
Aye.
Pillar,
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Omenauer.
Aye.
Anything else, Casey?
Nope.
Can I now hand the meeting over to Jerry? It's all yours.
All righty.
Yeah, we just went through that one.
Okay. We're on reports now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Letter C.
All right. Letter C, streets and cemetery.
Nothing for cemetery, but just following up on the last two, the Toyota tires and the Bobcat. Ron had the John Deere mechanical, and they have recommended that we change it all to 4. Not saying it would ruin or hinder anything, but they were really shocked that we kind of did that. So I make the motion that we proceed forward with the quote for 4 at $7,318.50. That's a set of 4 on the John Deere payloader. And that's basically dismount, mount, mileage, I mean, everything's in there. And then Monty, weren't we getting trade-in value?
Yeah,
I was just gonna ask
we're
that.
getting $700 for the other tires that are fairly new.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Yeah, so like, when did we just change out the other 2 tires?
That I'm not for sure, but the front 2 were, they look fairly new to me.
I'm not positive when these are coming either. It was early this spring, if I remember. And I've just now noticed that they're having these issues when they're on the road. It's not so much when they're in the yard and stuff, but when they get out, trying to go place to place, it actually cuts off the engine.
So we get these 4 tires on, the engine better not cut out.
Because they did go through and they did replace the sensor and stuff, but it was still, they were still concerned with the way it pulls with the, the new tires and the old tires, that it could cause more damage.
Okay. We have a motion and second. Discussion.
So then, who would, I guess, which outfit, I guess, change the tires out now?
And normally it was like,
I mean, if it's that big of a difference in these tires, I don't think they would say so.
Do you think so? Absolutely.
yeah, they was, unfortunately. If just when the question goes
When
to
they were
work on,
changed.
you know,
Can we gather up that information just so that we're aware of it as a board?
Yeah.
I think it would be good information to know.
I don't even remember having that discussion, or when that would have. Do you remember, Pat? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call.
Hack,
I,
Wolf,
I,
Miller,
Aye.
Stern,
Aye.
Oberon.
Aye. Sure passed. Police and fire.
oh.
Oh, sorry,
And then
Jason.
on the Bobcat, we're still negotiating the whole extra hydraulic fitting attachments that Ron's not here. I asked Monty about it. They got it knocked down to 2,700. I don't know if Ron's negotiating more, and that's where they would come pick it up.
They wanted 5,000.
Yeah. Transport it down, fix it, bring it back. And I guess to me, that would be,
Did Ron give indication of what their feedback was in light of the fact that we had conversation up front?
I honestly
Stating what the
don't,
needs were?
I don't think the sales guy talked to the manager when Ron talked.
Right.
You know, so,
They acknowledged fault in their communication part,
yeah.
and they knew we wanted that, so it wasn't like we didn't specify that, the bid package, that we did want that. But they just put on there what a different electronic package, but we didn't want electronic. And that was another option they gave us, well, you can leave what you have on there and switch all your implements to electronic, well, that costs more than $5,000 to do that with all the pieces we have.
Yeah.
But so, they said it's.
What's the timeliness of wanting to get this done?
We can't use our implements right now, we can't use our tree spade
Yeah, the
And
tree
we-
spade and
and the
Stump grinder.
stump grinder, which we need the stump grinder now. And
I
they
guess
could
I
get it
just-
done
I would
quick.
just like to have a better understanding of the conversations that Ron's had, and whether, you know, you talked about the difference in dollars on what they originally wanted to charge and what this is this a big concession on their part to recognize the fact that they miscommunicated and we're getting a deal? I'm not familiar enough with this type of equipment.
I mean, originally, like Jerry said, it started at 5, they wanted 5,000, and I just told Ron that, no, absolutely not. And Ron's held his ground and communicated, unfortunately, Ron's not here tonight.
So then the last conversation I was with Ron is that, okay, then we have to at least split it, you know, we should have caught it too. However, they said, well, we're willing to go down $2,700, and we asked for $2,500. Instead of coming down $250 more, they said, we'll come pick it up, we'll haul it down, do it, and then bring it back to you. In my opinion, I think that's almost worth more than us having guys haul, take it down, spend the time and wait, or go get it again and bring it back, so, I don't know.
So I guess, Monty, if you follow up with Ronnie
And share that with you guys.
yeah, I guess I'd like to get the ball rolling on that as soon as possible, we need that stuff in.
Our next meeting's the 7th.
Yes.
Does the board want to wait until we hear back from Ron, Dan, or?
In your world, is a 7th reasonable? I don't know what the time frame is once we pull the trigger on it, if then we have to get on their
See, I don't know
schedule.
what
and-
timeframe that we're at either on that side, I couldn't tell you.
but it's something we're gonna have to do. I mean,
Sure.
why would we wait? I mean, just because of the price, we're gonna have to do it, whether
Well,
it's 27 or 25. You know, whatever they come up with, we're gonna have to take
I
care of it.
I think the information that you just shared, Jerry, was the information I would be looking for from Ron, so.
We don't have any legal ties or control over it, that we can make them do it. We actually did pay for what we have, so we didn't actually pay for that extra hydraulic.
Okay.
So,
Well, it sounds like due diligence was done on our part then.
I think Ron did a nice job of holding firm and not saying we're not spending 5,000 on this.
Yeah, I told on that front, that bill, especially when originally they looked at it and said, yeah, here's what you need. So,
So, okay, so we need a motion then to proceed forward if you, that what we want to do to have this finished up.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Hack,
Not to exceed 2,700.
Right.
I will second.
okay, we have a motion and a second, more discussion. Casey?
So there's a pump or something that's outside, or what's the?
I
No.
don't think they even got
They
the
didn't actually
hydraulic.
include the accessory hydraulic, they were including the electrical connections where we need the hydraulic ones for the additional.
It's like a third, I think it's a third line.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there's no hydraulic attachment on it.
And then the high flow pump, yeah. Okay, we have a motion, a second, any more discussion? Roll call.
Aye.
Pillar. Aye. Stern.
Aye.
Overall.
Aye, motion passed. Buster is not here tonight for HCD. Have you guys touched base on the Pioneer project at all tonight?
No.
Okay. I'll kind of report on that a little bit. We did have the groundbreaking and ribbon cutting ceremony today for this facility. There was a little concern about weather, so we didn't have it outside. We had it indoors. We had a very nice crowd. And we had the Northfield Housing and Finance was here with several of our state elected officials had representation or letters here about it. And so as you've driven by, obviously you've seen it's quite interesting to drive by. But it was a nice, very nice ceremony, and I believe the next step they're looking at over there is to do a kind of a gypsum layer, because when they tore it down, you know, when you're tearing all that down, you got a big track hole. There are some nicks in the concrete, and they need to make sure it's a smooth sheet before they move forward. So that's the next piece, and they also want to start digging. They're hoping to start digging today, if not today, tomorrow, to do the foundation and footings for this portion of the facility. And then when that's all done, then they'll start stick framing for ground up on. But it's very nice. Buster did a fantastic job, and I praised him for that. He's been working his tail off. Dan was there. I got a nice free. We got a free lunch afterwards.
Very good soup.
It's a really good soup. Yeah. So Commissioner Pillar was there also, but that was nice.
I did not give my report yet.
Oh, you have not?
No, I have not.
Sorry. Okay. All right, then we will go to busing and finance.
Okay, I just have a couple of things. I talked to Sienna Seiler at the library, and that crack in the wall, we're still looking at trying to repair that in the basement wall. Austin finally got back to her, and he's looking at about $1,500 to do a one-day project and sealing that up. We had another guy come and look at it, and it was between $1,500 and $10,000. So we kind of want to not do the 10,000, but she'd really like to see that get fixed before
Well, yeah, snow piles in
snow
there.
and thaw. So do we have?
Are they gonna have to pull this grate, the stairs away?
Yes,
They are.
yes, Austin's gonna, he said he'll have to cut one portion, and they'll have to put it back together, but he is gonna pull that away. They'll seal it and then put a rubber, some other rubber sealant over the crack.
During when we clean up those rocks underneath there and all the weeds, and be a great time to get that cleaned up. Maybe we get a crew, city guys over there.
And he's planning on doing it on a Saturday.
We get it cut and drug out, and our guys do it on Friday, and then they do their part Saturday. That'd be nice to do that, or else not have them put the steps back until Monday or Tuesday. That is a pain to get underneath there, those stairs there. It'd be a good time to do it.
Do we need a motion to have this?
Yes.
Okay, so I would move that we have that work done by
Okay.
Austin's crew.
Okay, we have a motion by Wolf to have this prepared out at the library.
Second.
Second by Hack. Discussion. Roll call.
Wolf,
I,
Hack. Aye. Pillar.
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Coleman.
Aye. Motion passed.
and then just one more thing, visiting with Sienna, she said that she had M&A heating in there. There's 2 furnaces in there actually, and one of them is been there a long time. And so they got it running, it's doing okay right now, but she'd like us to keep in the back of our head that at some point we're gonna have to replace one of those furnaces. And Joe estimated about $4,000. So she said, not now, but just keep it in mind that it will be coming. Okay, that should be it.
Appreciate those heads up other than,
Yeah.
oh, by the way, we need to do this now.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Pillar.
Nothing to report on police and fire. The posting for the position of city forester is closed. We had some candidates, and Monty is taking care of scheduling some interviewing, so hopefully by our next meeting, we could possibly make an announcement.
Anything else, Dan?
That's it.
Moving on to number 9A, North Dakota Oil and Gas annual meeting.
That's just a heads up. Heads up, Jerry is registered to attend that.
Can you give us the date on that again?
That is the 26th. Are you still gonna be able to go?
What day of the week is that?
That is Wednesday.
I may not be able to. Anybody else be able to use my registration?
Yeah.
It is. You on that day? Okay. I was supposed to go to training in Dallas Monday and Tuesday, and now I think it's changed to Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't think I get back till late.
So you can send the date, the times out to the complaints, so you can make it. Just let me know when you change the registration.
Okay.
She just says 26th. It's generally an all-day thing.
Yeah, it starts, I wanna say like 9 in the morning. There's a lot of lunch and probably ends about 3 or 4.
I'll get the information.
Okay. Old business, 10A, 7th Street speed limit, school zone. Any more thoughts?
I guess just, did anybody look at the information I said? Basically, in a nutshell, they were saying that the sign should be 100 feet from school property. And then when you get to the point, we're talking about maybe doing it something there by the church. Why then, if the speed limit's going to increase, you'd have the speed limit sign going towards the east school zone and the speed limit, but then basically across the street, there should be a sign that says 25 miles an hour. And you'd have basically the same thing on the east side of the school if you wanted to do something like that, you know, and then again, you're just going 1 mile an hour over, you're subject to a $40 fine. Whereas now it's just $1 for each mile an hour over, so, you know, there isn't much of a deterrent there, I guess, if they are speeding. And I mentioned at the last meeting, people running stop sign, care required over at the intersection of 4th and 7th. And like I said, after I made that statement, I looked at the citations and over there by the cop shop, I mean, it's like care required. I mean, come on, you know, I mean.
Mhm.
I don't know what it's like up by the school.
So this is doable, then, I think it'd be the safe, prudent way to go, but, just any other thoughts otherwise?
Really just signage? Or is there something that we have to change within,
It's not an ordinance change, no.
so it's just acquisition of the sign then? Because right now,
Maybe a couple of-
we've got the sign is right near the, parking lot of the senior center, I believe, or is it, no, Peace?
What?
Peace
I think
League.
it's further down than that, it's closer to Napa, isn't it? I think that says,
No, it's right on the, as you're coming from the west, there's a speed limit sign right after the exit coming out onto the street from, the church. It's right there, because my wife says, I see they put up a new sign, and then I told her, I said, no, it's the same sign that's always been there. So,
well, I mean, there are a couple, I mean, one is a speed limit sign, and the other one's a school zone sign. I mean,
okay,
I
the
mean, so
one
they're-
there by the church is just a speed limit sign.
Yeah.
But that would have to become then a school zone sign, or a combination of the two?
If you want the enhanced enforcement or the enhanced penalties, it would have to be a school zone. And it appears you can put them both on, the school zone up above the.
Right.
So the increased penalty would be within the school zone, and if we raised it to, say, 25 heading to the west, then that would fall under the same governance as $1 over or
Right.
whatever type thing, okay.
And you said 100 feet both ways?
100 feet, yeah, 100 feet from school property, so.
So
But-
where, on the east side, where does school property end? Isn't that right? Now you're gonna be pushing
It's all the way to the intersection.
No, it,
On the south side, you got the park.
on the east side of the high school,
That's outside, right.
basically where the school property ends, so, I mean, if you had one back at the intersection of, what is that? Third? No, Third Avenue, yeah. So you'd have just a short block where they could go bop it up to 25, which they would do. Yeah, they get the cop shop, run the stop sign, get another ticket.
All right, then we just need to give our approval or make a motion to do this, I guess. And then I think it'd be good, Jason, if you went out there with Chuck and find a spot where you're gonna put it. Right, I'm sorry, yeah.
I'll do
I
it.
can do it.
Well, streets.
I could delegate.
Yeah. I was thinking streets, but you're right, be police, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we're gonna do this.
You may have to check your ordinance because, they didn't adopt all of the traffic ordinance, I mean, the state, the state violations. In our ordinance, we didn't adopt whatever, chapter 39, whatever it is, the state, traffic violations. We picked and chose, so we don't have them all in our ordinance. Police can still cite, but it depends on what court it goes to. They can issue a citation, then we go to district court instead of Hazen Municipal Court. That's the only difference.
I think there's, I'd have to look, I mean, I think there's something in the school zone in our
Yeah,
city
that's
ordinance.
what
I
I'm-
think there is something there. I don't know if it specifies a fine or not, but I'd have to look at our city ordinance, but I think that there is something in there that might
They can
require.
do it, it's just, where do you want the fine to go?
What's fun to hear? Yeah. Okay, I entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Wolf,
Second.
and second by Pillar. Any more discussion? Casey,
So the motion, is that just for the school zone?
or is that school zone and increase of the
And the
25?
increase of the 25.
and then simply going to the west, or also between Third Street and the stop sign, which is not very far.
That's a pretty short block, it's not,
I would
Not sure I'm interested in
increase it.
increasing the speed limit to get to the stop sign quicker for one city block.
Just for the west side.
The west,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's assuming then that our local ordinance allows the flexibility, or you're just saying the only difference would be where you will go to court to pay your fine.
So we have a motion for the school zone area and the raising of the speed limit to 25 just from the school zone west. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion. No more discussion? Roll call.
Wolf,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Hack. Aye. Overarm.
Aye, motion passed. We have nothing under new business. Approval of the bills.
So moved.
Thank you, Pat. We have a motion by Wolf to approve the bills.
Second?
Second by Pillar. Any discussion? Roll call.
Wolf,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Hack. Aye. Overarm.
Aye. Motion passed. Did we approve the pay estimate? I'm assuming we did.
Yes.
Okay.
And more engineering, they make a motion to approve going with mapping. We're only doing an arc reader that's free.
Three,
Yeah.
okay,
For now.
start with that.
Going into it.
And we approve the CBB budget.
Okay.
And that's all the information from North Dakota Cares.
No action on it at this time.
Sorry I wasn't here right away. I was up here in teacher conferences and it's longer than I thought it'd be. Thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Meeting adjourned. We're done. We're done.